Hello and welcome back to the Outback. So I'm going to show you my Crua Cocoon, which isn't a hammock, it's a hammock insulation, and it's an excellent piece of kit. This is the older version. So before I show you that, I'm going to get my glasses on. I'm going to tell you about the newer version that we've come up with, just so you know the differences. So the newer version is about 4.2 kilos, and that's not far off. They're not a lightweight backpacking bit of kit, but they are an excellent bit of kit. I've been out in -7, -10 in the woods and been toasty, so I rate them definitely. They're made with a graphene synthetic material, and it works. Pretty weird when you're in it, but it works. The new version is the Crua Culla hammock wrap. Again, that's 4.2 kilos, as I said. They're a 1 to 2 person hammock cover, so if you've got a big hammock like the DDXL, they will go over it. I think the newer version also have the hoop bars, very similar to the DDXL hammock, so that spreads it out. They're at cruaoutdoors.com. I will give them a plug because they're a small company doing a lot of good stuff. They're not cheap, but they do reasonably good quality stuff. So that's that bit over. Let's have a look at this. As you can see, it's a big bulky beast. It will go down a fair bit if you did compress it, but I don't bother at the minute because I'm not backpacking it anyway. It is backpackable, but you're gonna know you've got it on your back, that's for sure. Well, as I said, this is the older version. I can't afford the new version at the minute, although I'd love one. So if you're listening, Crua, I'm quite happy to test it for you. Keep giving them a plug, whatever back on for, you never know. And there she comes out. Good old bag. And when you first get it and you look at it, you think, how the hell do I put that up? There's zips everywhere and strings everywhere, and a lot of material, but I shall endeavour to put it up and show you how I put it up over the One Wind, and it works. So that's the next piece. So here we have it, the Crua Culla Cocoon, the old version. And as you can see, it goes right over the hammock, completely encased. I'll just whip round this side. Totally over. You're basically in a tent with it. And the new version has the hoops, but the new version doesn't do what this one does. And if you haven't seen it, there are still videos out there, but I'm going to take it to bits and show you anyhow. Yeah, it has a air vent there for when you're in it, and there's also a zip up one here that you can undo and have that vented. The zips go all the way up, and there's lovely little Prested fasteners that just clip on, and then she'll unzip all the way down as such. And the same on this end. Crua Outdoors, good company, good lads. And that will unfasten from there. Can't do it one-handed, so I'll come back and show you that in a second. And then the same with this side, only this side has a T-zip on it. Let's get it started. Sorry about the camera work. I still can't do it. Right, the T-zip. And that just unzips again along here. It's pretty hard to do one-handed while holding the camera. But hey, you'll get the idea. Hang on. And I'll just go in and do this side. I'm sure you get nuts, but had to be done. So that's that unzipped. So you can throw that over the ridge line that's on it. And I leave my bug net on if I have the full cocoon up. Just for the simple reason I've found that I'm a wriggler at night and my quilts or my sleeping bag have tendencies to slide off the end of the hammock, and I don't fancy them being in between, so the bug net stops that. But that's my personal preference, you don't have to. But as you'll see shortly, you don't even have to have the whole top on. So we'll come back to that. So as you can see here, the whole top totally unzips from the bottom, and it's on its own little ridge line here, and you can simply unhook it from the ridge line. I did put some prussets on mine just to make sure the top pulled tight, but these little hooks are just like a D-ring hook that clip onto that. So just undo the prussets and the whole thing will come off, which I'll show you next. So as such, it all unzips, unclips, and you can simply take the top off, and you're left with the graphene underquilt, which just connects up the same as before. A couple of carabiners on the ends as a normal underquilt, with the adjusters and everything else that's left on it. And my little fasteners again with the crocodile clips on a bit of elastic through their fasteners, and the one in the middle I just put round the tag there, and again another one, crocodile clips of mine at that end, and it fits you as a perfect underquilt. Now I believe with these being graphene, they aren't rated to a thermal content because they react to the temperature that's in them or on them. So if you're lying on that and you've gone in bed warm, it's going to stay warm. So one to try out that I've never tried like this, so I'm going to leave the bug net on and try just the underquilt side of it like this. And the other thing you can do, which is quite interesting, I shall show you next. So with the top, you can join the fashion brigade and make it into a poncho-y quilt. Can't do this with the new version. The new version is more of a cocoon just for the hammock. They really went to town when they made this one. And the zips will zip right up once you find the ends under your armpits, keeping your arms there. And I can assure you I'm pretty darn hot as it is right now. It goes down nearly to my feet. So I've got the idea that I've never tried, that I'm going to get in the hammock with it and see how it feels, whether I'm prepared to try to sleep in this, and then I've just took the whole cocoon. So I'm not taking a sleeping bag, I'm not taking an underquilt or any other quilts, I'd just be taking this and see how insulated and warm I spend the night just with this, because it looks bulky and it looks heavy. When you add up your sleeping bag and your quilts and everything else that you're taking, this might be a good version. But I've never tried this one. I've only ever been in it when it's been full. I'll just kick my shoes off and get into the hammock. And apart from my toes, which I can get in surprisingly, just maybe if I cinch the ends up. I'm actually in the quilt. So I might just give this a try and see how we go on just like that. Because it's something I've not tried, I've not seen other people try. And if it does work, it's a handier bit of kit than you thought. And I know as a Cocoon itself, when it's right over, like I said before, I've been out in -10, in the woods, thick frost on the floors, and been toasty warm. And right now I am hot. It really does throw the heat back at you, this graphene material. So I might give that a try. Might have to look at how to make this into a footbox. Oh, and that's my old version Crua Cocoon. As I said, the new ones, they have a hoop that comes in them, and they are just the Cocoon tent style thing to go on, whereas this was made differently. A lot of thought went into this, and I don't honestly think it ever got its true recognition for what it is. And just unzips on that side, this side just zips all the way up. And you've not got the zipper stuck. That's close. You can close the vents up if you use it as a quilt, and they probably thought that's a good idea. Although I don't know, you might be too hot. As I said, I've never tried it. Glad to be out of it, because it really is warm. And the hood side of it, when it's on, folds up into the pocket and velcros off. So that's out your way. And that's the Crua Cocoon, which you might see me in later. Well, I'm in the hammock in the One Wind with the Crua Cocoon underquilt and the Crua Cocoon top as the over blanket. It's about 8 degrees, so they reckon, going down to about 6, so similar temperatures to before. I'm just going to try the night and see how it goes like this, and I will let you know in the morning. What I have done is I'm using the One Tigress quilt on top, but not for heat on my legs mainly. It's mainly for the footbox of the Crua, because as you know, it doesn't go right down, and I think I'm going to put my feet out, so I've just got the One Tigress quilt to go on. And I think you could, I suppose in theory, take a pair of booties, tent slippers, type booties, the down ones, just to slip on at night, or a really good thick pair of woolly socks. It's not so much that your feet come out of the hole at the bottom, it's sealing the hole up. You're going to get the draft coming in from that. So that's my theory on that. So I thought I'd just keep my feet warm. As you've seen with the One Tigress quilt, it packs down to virtually nothing and there's no weight anyhow. So that's what we're going for. I've broke my thermometer, so I can't show you that. So, but I have just checked it on the weather.
and I think they said about 6 degrees down to 4 early hours. So like I said, similar temperatures to before, and we'll see how it goes. So see you in the morning. Right off. So good morning. Excuse me. Okay. Well, it wasn't a bad night. It was raining a bit this morning on the top, I could hear it. And I'm feeling the chill. I wouldn't say I was cold, like I'd had to abandon cold. But it was starting to get there. So it's really surprised me that having it on as a tent with the sleeping bag inside, and I've been down to -10, and it must have got down to 2 to 4 degrees, something round there, and I'm feeling the cold. So that really is surprising me. But it's worth the experiment. Now I know if I want to go minus camping with this, I'm going to have it as a tent style over it. Definitely. And if I just wanted to go backpacking with it in the spring, summer, it's going to be pretty much okay. So it's worth the experiment. It's always worth experimenting with your kit, especially when you can afford to abandon it if you need to. So I hope this was of interest. And this is the Crua Cocoon, the old version. See you later.
So good morning. So that was me in the One Wind Airstream Hammock with the Crua Culla old version wrapped round sleeve. The underquilt side of it, that was brilliant. Never felt a bit of cold coming through that. As I said before, when I woke up, I was glad I'd got the one tigress down quilt in over my toes. That just kept the chill off me. It was starting to feel the cold. Don't quite understand that. But when I have been out in the past, in minus figures, -7, -10 round there, I did take the DD underquilt, the DD Jura, and the one tigress quilt, and I had this set up as the tent, and I was warm. In fact, probably too hot. I also had the liner, I forgot about that, the fleece liner you've already seen. Well, like I say, I was too hot. I slept in my thermals, no socks. I'm not even sure I put a hat on. That's how warm I was. So it's a varying thing, depending on what you take. But as I said this morning, I think for spring, summer use, maybe into early autumn, just packing that and the one tigress quilt over, and maybe instead of the one tigress, like I said, a pair of the long down style booties, tent booties that you can get, something like that that's lightweight and small to pack in your bag, just to keep your toe end warm, and I think you'd be okay. But set up as a tent over it, like the new Crua version of this is, you're not going to go wrong. You can go out in the minuses, figures in the hammock, and have a good time. Well, that was of interest. I'm going to keep doing hammock stuff in this folder on the channel. Probably out in the field when I set up. Sometimes when we go out, I might video it and put them in there, so keep an eye out for more hammocking stuff if that's your thing. And leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, all the other good stuff. Subscribe if you like the channel, and let me know what you'd like to see on the channel. We can do a lot in the outback, as I'm already proving, and it's always good to practice. From hammocking to setting fires, cooking, everything you can do out there, you can do here, and practice here, so you get it right when you're out there and when you don't want it to go wrong. So, all the best. See you soon.